All right, hello everyone. My name is Serafi, and I'm happy to meet you all. And today it is the glorious return of Legends of Runeterra to my channel. I know that I said I wasn't going to make any more Legends of Runeterra content, but to be honest, I've had a lot more time ever since I stopped playing Duel Links. I don't have to grind nearly as much as I used to. I used to just play Duel Links for 7 or 8 hours a day. Now I can do other things. I actually have a backlog. I have, I think, 6 decks finished for Master Duel that I'm just going to drop one by one on as soon as my vacation is over. And it takes me no time at all to make new Master Duel decks. So I've got plenty of ideas, so I have time to do other things. It's great. I've never felt better, to be honest. I know that I got some comments on a few of my videos saying that I look burned out, so I just want to let you know, guys, know that between dropping the game and taking a vacation, I feel fantastic. So let's get started. There is a new patch coming out. It's the Rogues of Runeterra. We are going to have some new ways to play, and of course, as usual, we have 2 new constellations to work with. This is very exciting. So let's get started with Akshan, the Rogue Sentinel. Akshan is, here's his starting deck, real quick. He's got a 5 mana, 5/5, a Karn Bruiser. Strike, create a Lucky Find in hand. Lucky Find is a 0 mana fleeting spell. Fleeting is, of course, it discards at the end of the turn. Choose an ally and grant it one of 3 buffs. Your options are +0, +2, +1, +1, +2, +0, quick attack, spell shield, overwhelm, fearsome, tough, and I want to say challenger. Yeah. Decent, Akshan loves targeting his allies, so Lucky Finds were bound to be in his deck. It kind of feels like this is going to be like exactly what Sivir's deck is going to be, unfortunately. Sivir might have a couple more reputation cards, but I mean they just want to make thief cards, and Akshan and Sivir have way too much overlap to begin with as it is. Next up we have the Absolver. This is a 2 mana burst spell. Give an ally +2/+1 this round. If you've leveled a champion this game, create the Absolver's Return in hand. The Absolver's Return is, I'm pretty sure that's the spell that just revives an ally. No. The Absolver's Return is a 2 mana fleeting spell that gives an ally Overwhelm and +2/+1 this turn. Meh. So you can pay 4 and give an ally +4/+2 and Overwhelm. Yeah, that's not worth it. With that in mind, this will probably have Tear of the Goddess. We haven't gotten any confirmation on the items, but Tear of the Goddess would reduce this to 0. I can't imagine them expecting you to pay 4 mana for +4/+2 when you could just get +1/+1 and Overwhelm with the Beast within anyway. Next up, we have Tomb Raider Barbara. This is a 3 mana, 3/3 reptile. Each round, the first time another ally dies or last breath, create a Lucky Find in hand. So either if one of your other allies dies, you get a Lucky Find, or if Barbara dies, you also get a Lucky Find. I like the idea of like giving last breath to your allies. That's kind of a cool feature. But regardless, it's just a Lucky Find. You'll have to have another unit on the board to actually make use of it, which you probably will, but it does make this card really hard to justify playing on turn 1, because what if you have to block with it, right? Then you get a Lucky Find that you can't even use, and it dies at the end of the turn. So we'll have to see. I mean, if Lucky Finds could somehow not be fleeting, that'd be really cool, actually, but I doubt that they're going to do anything cool like that. Next up, we have Treasure Seeker. Treasure Seeker is a 1 mana 2/1. When I'm summoned, create a Waking Sands in hand. Waking Sands is a 2 mana sorcery spell that summons a 5/2 ephemeral sand soldier. Ephemeral, of course, means that it dies at the end of the turn. So you summon it, and either blocks or it strikes, and then it dies. This is completely expected. Every time that they give us a new champion, they give us a 1-drop in that champion's kit just to help you level the champion up, and then that's always the card that you cut really early. So, I mean, Treasure Seeker doesn't make sense with the rest of the kit, but it's a 1-cost Shuriman champion, and she's kind of roguish, so better than like the reptile one, I guess. Now we get into the actual Vikarans that make a lot more sense for Akshan's kit. To explain these two, I do have to tell you what Akshan does. Akshan is a 2-mana 2/2 with quick attack. When I'm summoned or when I strike, summon a Warlord's Palace or advance it 1 round. And then when he completes the Warlord's Palace, then he levels up. And then when he levels up, summon a Warlord's Horde. We'll get to that in a second. Vikaran Vagabond is a 3-mana 3/3. When I'm summoned, summon a Warlord's Palace or advance it 2 rounds. And Vikaran Safecracker is a 4-mana 4/4. Play, give an ally +2/+0 to give an enemy -2/-0 this round. Then you also have Quicksand, give an enemy -4/-0 or 2 enemies -1/-0 and disable their positive keywords this round. This spell is extremely good. I love Quicksand. I think that Nasus used to have this. It's really, really powerful to just take away your opponent's keywords, especially if they have things like Fearsome or Overwhelm. You can just block. Really, really useful. And then Grappling Hook, a 3-mana slow spell. An ally you've targeted this round strikes an enemy, so you'll have to play your Lucky Strikes or your Time and Dedication on a unit, and then you just play Grappling Hook and you strike an enemy, and that's pretty useful. There's a similar card in Aatrox's kit, which is the I don't remember what the spell is called. It's a 4-mana spell that gets the -1 cost, so it ends up being 3 mana. I don't even remember what the -1 cost. Mana Crystal is... No, it's not Mana Crystal. Sapphire Crystal is you get a Mana Gem. Tear of the Goddess is -2. I don't remember what -1 is. Mana Potion. Yeah. So it's a 4-mana spell. It has Mana Potion, so it costs 3, and it has an equipped ally strikes an enemy, and that's really, really good. It's perfectly fine. This will be the same, I think. All right. So that is the deck. Now, to understand Akshan, you have to understand the landmarks. So let me pull those up real quick. Akshan has, when I'm summoned or when I'm strike, summon a Warlord's Palace or advance it 1 round. Warlord's Palace is a 1-mana landmark that says countdown 8, create a Relic of Power in hand, and when you target allies, advance me 1. So, you summon Akshan, it gives you a Warlord's Palace. Then if Akshan strikes, like he attacks or he blocks, then you advance the Warlord's Palace by 1. The Warlord's Palace will also count down by 1 at the start of the round, and then you can also advance it by 1 anytime you target an ally, like with the Lucky Find. And once you've counted it down 8 times, it creates a Relic of Power in hand, and then it disappears. And once it disappears, then Akshan levels up. And when Akshan levels up, he summons a Warlord's Horde. And Warlord's Horde is a 1-mana landmark. 1-mana landmark with countdown 8, create a Sentinel's Horde in hand. When you target allies, advance me 1. And the leveled up version of Akshan, when he strikes, he advances the Warlord's Horde by 1. Okay, so that doesn't probably tell you guys a whole lot. Let me explain. So the Warlord's Palace has it creates a Relic of Power. Relic of Power is a 0-mana fleeting focus spell. Pick 1, predict, then draw 1, or summon a Sandstone Charger, or grant allies +1/+0. So, you can either look at 3 cards from your deck, choose 1 to place on top of your deck, and then draw that card, or you can summon a 5/2 that will die at the end of the turn or when it blocks, or you can give all of your allies +1/+0 forever. If you're thinking that that's probably not worth it, that is correct. Now, that is the first effect, and then you have the more powerful Warlord's Horde. At this point, you have had to count down 16, so you've either spent like 8 turns in the game, or you have played a lot of spells to target allies. And if you do that, then you are able to create a Sentinel's Horde. Sentinel's Horde allows you to play Absolver's Resurrection, Font of Power, or Shield of the Sentinels. Absolver's Resurrection is a 0-mana spell that says grant all enemies vulnerable, which means you can drag them and force them to block. and create in hand a 0-cost copy of the strongest ally that died this game. So, like, for example, if your strongest ally that was killed this game was that Vakaran Bruiser, which is the 5-mana 5/5, you get a 0-mana 5/5, you play it, and then you can drag people and fight. Fount of Power is draw 2 cards, and for the rest of the turn, your cards cost 1 less. That's decent. And lastly, you have Shield of the Sentinels, which is grant your champions everywhere Spell Shield and +2/+2. Obviously, giving your champions everywhere, which means not only champions that are on your board, but champions that you have not summoned yet, Spell Shield is very, very powerful. The +2/+2 is decent. Probably not worth it at that stage in the game. Okay, so that is Akshan. So let's go back to talking about his kit. So your goal here with Akshan is going to be to control the board, to always have at least 1 unit out that you can target, to constantly play spells to target, and then when you have actually finished your palace, you want to be in a position where you can use the +1 attack or the free 5/2 to win the game. Not sure that's going to happen. So, real quick, I'm going to make a prediction on all of the item cards that this deck gets, because I want to. Vakaran Bruiser definitely is going to be intended to be the most powerful unit in the deck. I am guessing this card will get Phage, so it'll be a 5-mana 7/7. The Absolver, there's no way they're going to make us pay 4 for this, so this will get Mana Potion, it'll be 0. Tomb Raider Barbara. I'm thinking they'll want us to get this out really early, so I think this card will get Nomad's, or not Nomad's Medallion, Ancient Coin. So it'll cost 1 less. It'll be a 2-mana 3/3. Pretty decent. Treasure Seeker, and they're not gonna think too hard about this one. It's a 1-mana card. They'll give it either Skirmisher, Saber, so it has Challenger, or more likely they'll just give it Stud Leather, so it gets +1/+1. It's a 3/2. Vakaran Vagabond and Vakaran Safecracker are the cards that are most likely to get 2 items each. And Vakaran Vagabond, they really like to give 3-mana cards Crystal Carrier for some reason, so I'm going to guess that she gets that, which is, it's a rare item that says, as long as I'm on the board, give an extra mana crystal at the start of each round. And then the other one will be Steel Shield. Again, another thing they really like to give 3-drops. So she'll get +1/+3, and she'll be a 4/6. A 4/6 that, she advances your Warlord's Palace, and then you just kind of let her sit on the board, and she gives you an extra mana every turn. Seems fair. Vakaran Safecracker, they're not going to reduce their cost, because they're probably going to reduce the Reptile's cost. So, although this is a really expensive deck, a 3-drop, actually 4 3-drops. 4 3-drops, a 4-drop, and a 5-drop. This is a really expensive deck. I still don't think they're going to reduce its cost. Vakaran Safecracker will probably get... They love to give 1 card Great Club, which is Overwhelm, so they'll probably do that. She's probably going to get a Great Club for Overwhelm, and then I'm guessing the other item will be Giant's Belt to give her 2 extra health. So I think that she will also be a 4/6. So basically both the Vagabonds will be... Or both the Vakarans will be a 4/6s. Quicksand... There's not a lot you can do with Quicksand. There's not too many spell items. I think that they will probably give this one Summoner's Beacon. So it'll summon a card that's equal to its cost. That way, if you use this card to protect yourself, you can summon a unit as an extra blocker. It'd be really, really powerful, but the deck needs a lot of help. Grappling Hook. What do we do with this one? This one's going to get the Mana Crystal. So this one will be, when you play this, you gain an extra empty Mana Crystal so that you have, if you have 4 mana, then next turn you'll have 6 mana. Yeah, okay. Alright, that's my guess. That's my prediction. Okay, now let's take a look at the powers. Sorry for your wait. Wow, 16 minutes in, I'm only now getting the powers. Okay. Going Rogue, when an allied landmark counts down, give allies +1/+0 this round. You might think that that sounds familiar. That is Talia's power as well, except with Talia, it's permanent. And I think it's also, no, it is +1/+0. Yeah, no, that's well. Oh no, wait, no. Talia is specifically when it is destroyed. This one is when it counts down. So I guess technically speaking, every time that you play every time you target an ally, it will count down. So that's actually not too bad considering that you have ways to do this. It's not great as a 1-star because you don't really have too many ways to access the lucky strikes at the beginning of the game. It gets a lot better when you have the 4-star, but the 1-star by itself, really not that good. Sentinel business. +1 starting mana, game start, summon the Warlord's Palace. Okay, so you can start counting down the Warlord's Palace even if you don't draw Akshan right away, even if you don't play Akshan right away. That makes sense. It does also mean that if you play Akshan on turn 1, then you're immediately going to reduce you're going to immediately advance the Warlord's Palace by 1, and then you could strike, and then you reduce it by another 1, so you can immediately have your Warlord's Palace on turn 1 at countdown 5. Good enough. And also that means that Akshan will be a 3/2 when you summon him, he's going to advance it and countdown 1. That'll give you +1/+0. 2 mana 3/2 with quick attack is pretty decent on turn 2. Not going to be amazing against like a nightmare area, but you don't really care about nightmare areas when you're only a 2-star. So yeah, I think that's fine. All right, going rogue. Your countdown completion effects activate twice. When an allied landmark counts down, give allies +1/+0 this round. Okay, this is much more interesting. So essentially, they know that the benefits of the spells, like the actual spells that you get from the Warlord's Palace and the Warlord's Horde aren't good. So they're like, okay, well, you can have 2 of them. That makes it a lot more interesting because you could potentially make your cards cost 2 less and draw 4, which is really, now you're getting into some risky business. That could be really, really powerful. You could also give all of your champions +2/+2 and spell shield, and then also draw 2 cards and reduce your cards cost by 1. Maybe you throw out another champion in that case. Or for the base one, you give your allies +2/+0. Okay, well that gets you a lot closer to potentially getting lethal off of hitting the first countdown. So yeah, I mean, I can see the 3-star being close to good enough. I don't think it's good enough on its own. The 4-star is where we get good. The Craftsman's Favor, round start, create a fleeting Time and Dedication in your hand. Time and Dedication is a 1-mana spell that says Forge an Ally. Forge an Ally is give the ally +1/+1 unless it has equipment, in which case give the equipment +1/+1 instead. Perfect. That is targeting an ally. You get it every single round. It does cost you 1 mana, but that's pretty fair considering that you are advancing the landmark. You're giving your allies +1/+0. It seems pretty decent. Mana flow, get an extra mana. I don't think that's going to be too relevant for Akshan. Obviously, like, extra mana is useful in every case, and he does have a lot of 3-cost cards, but you're going to be playing Akshan on turn 1 almost every game anyway, so all that does, I guess it gives you an extra mana to use the Time and Dedication on Akshan immediately. Yeah, that actually is pretty important. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the mana flow is good. Lastly, we have Absolution. When an allied Warlord Palace is destroyed, steal a mana gem. So that means that when you advance the Warlord Palace to 8, you will take one of your opponent's mana gems. So if you both have 6 mana gems, then your opponent goes down to 5, you go up to 7, and then next turn, when it becomes relevant, then your opponent will have 6 and you'll have 8. So, I mean, it swings the game significantly in your favor. And tempo is important and makes sense for a rogue character. When an allied Warlord's Horde is destroyed, revive the strongest dead non-ephemeral ally. Okay. That is pretty decent. So in the same way that you could play like the Absolver's card to create a 0-cost copy of the strongest ally that had died this game in your hand, now you get that ability immediately for free. You don't have to create a card in your hand and then play it. It immediately summons your strongest dead ally. And that can be a champion. That's good. That is very good. So, I mean, the 6-star is fine. It's just the rest of it that feels like it's not going to be very strong. It's not going to be very, very threatening. That's Akshan. I'm not impressed. I don't think Akshan is going to be super powerful. I'll give him a try, but I'm guessing that Akshan's probably going to be the weaker part of the patch. Now, on to Jhin. That's right. We are getting Jhin, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hold on. I forgot it was a relic. Akshan's relic. Scoundrel Hunter, Challenger, Power. When you play a champion, summon a Warlord's Palace or advance it 2 rounds. Okay, so this gives Akshan Challenger, which is actually pretty relevant since he has quick attack. You do want to attack with him every single round to advance the Warlord's Palace, but if you do that, then you might die. So being able to choose who you fight when you have quick attack is pretty useful. Also, being able to advance the Warlord's Palace 2 rounds immediately when you play him means you're that much closer to stealing a mana from your opponent, and also that you are going to get +2/+0 additionally. So when you play Akshan on turn 1, then that means that your Warlord's Palace is going to count down by 3. So Akshan will be a 5/2 with Challenger. That gets you closer to like actually being threatening against a deadly enemy. Is it good enough to pie? Because you do have to spend $10 on this. No, I don't think so. I really don't think that anyone but Akshan would want this, and it's not good enough even on Akshan. I think that Akshan's relics, he has much better options. Okay. Let's talk about his stars. So, Akshan has these stars. Star of Bounty, +1 revive. Holy crap. Now that is good, and it's very in flavor for Akshan. If you've ever played Akshan in League, Akshan is a support character that has the ability to revive allies. So getting an extra life is, first of all, it's unique. I don't think there's any other character that gets an extra revive from their constellation. And secondly, it's really, really strong. Like, you could basically just, there'll be some games where you whiff on your champion and then you just don't win the game because you didn't draw your champion in time. This revive makes up for that, so that's really good. Star of Legends, your support champions have Excavator's Charge. That is interesting. We've had several Star of Legends that give the support champions Focusing Crystal, and Focusing Crystal is you get +1/+1 permanently whenever you play a spell. Excavator's Charge is you get +1/+1 for the rest of the turn whenever you play a card. It's debatable about whether that would be better than Focusing Crystal for Akshan, since most of his cheap cards are spells. But I think this is perfectly fine. It is going to make your champions pretty strong, and your focus is on like winning the game as fast as possible because you get temporary buffs off of your countdown anyway. So I guess this does kind of encourage you to be super aggressive when you do have like to store up all your power and release it all at once. So I think maybe that's fine. Star of Blessings, Grappling Hook has Stopwatch. Yeah, they keep doing they keep doing this. They keep saying, okay, this slow spell is terrible. Let's make it burst speed instead. Burst speed, an ally strikes an enemy is really, really strong. That's unbelievably powerful. So yeah, that's probably the best star here. Star of Discovery, units you acquire in adventures have phase favor. Okay, that means that it's units. The Star of Discovery is almost always followers or spells. This is units. So that means that this applies to both your followers and also your support champion. So your support champion gets 2 items? That's broken. That's really good. Okay, phase favor is that the ally has faded, which means that it gets once per turn when you target it, it gets +1/+1 in addition to the other effects, and that +1/+1 is permanent. That's very powerful, obviously. That has perfect synergy with his deck. It means that the time and dedication will get +2/+2, which is amazing. So yeah, this star makes his deck work a lot better. Star of Wonder, landmarks you acquire in adventures have Symbol of Strength and Mana Potion. Wow, he's just taken Talia's ability. Okay, so Mana Potion means that they cost 1 less, and then Symbol of Strength is, I'm pretty sure that's while it's on the board. No, it's I think it's when you're summoned and when you're destroyed, you summon a unit that has the same cost. Yeah. All right, that's perfectly fine. Okay, cool. That is Akshan.